All right, ladies and gentlemen, so yes, I've moved locations. Um, it's not very late in the day, but I am exhausted. I feel like I could fall asleep right now. So to help myself, I decided to stand up. So we're going to see if that helps this lesson. We're going to start order of operations. If you notice from the title, it says part one. I have it split into two parts just because I want to make us very solid on our order of operations before I let us go off into the next part of this idea. So yes, this is a two-part lesson. So if you've already seen the first half, which you would know if you saw it in class or not, you're good to go skip to the next lesson, which is part two. Otherwise, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, sit on down and we'll talk about it together. So lesson two, order of operations. So typically you see order of operations written as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This is the same general idea. All I've done here is change them from that saying into my steps. So step number one, evaluate expressions inside grouping symbols. And what does that look like? Those look like either sets of parentheses or a set of brackets. Evaluate all powers. So that's like a something to the third or something to the seventh. Multiply and or divide from left to right. And this is my big issue, is that this is where most people have issues, that you have to go from left to right. It's multiplied or divide, either one. If I see division first, then I divide first. If I see multiplication first, then I multiply first. It has to go from left to right. You have to go in that order, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how much I can stress that, and that's where most of us have our issues, is that we just want to go, oh, multiplication always goes first. No, left to right, left to right, left to right. And then lastly, addition or subtraction, again, from left to right as well. Typically, most people do that one fine, but for some reason, those multiplying and dividing parts, that's where we just struggle. So first example, go ahead and write down. I even made myself coffee because I literally felt like I was going to fall asleep making the last video. So I need to start with, I have no groupings, so I need to go ahead and, I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to say duplicate, make a little bit smaller, and throw onto the next slide so that I can have my steps next door. Now, obviously, I don't need you to do that because you can read your piece of paper above, but I wanted to do that so I can check off steps as we go. So step number one, evaluate inside grouping symbols. I don't have any grouping symbols, so it's done. Step number two, evaluate all powers. So that's where I'm going to start next. And I see I have 2 to the second. So I'm going to take 2 to the second, and 2 to the second is 4. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this in a nice, neat format. And I don't want to just have arrows and lines and be all confused at what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem as well, exactly as I see it. Since I've evaluated that 2 squared, instead of 2 squared, I'm now writing 4 because that is the evaluated form of it. All right, evaluate powers, done. Step 3, multiply or divide from left to right. So since you can't see my finger pointing on my screen, let's get my mouse. From left to right, I start with subtraction. Boom, 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 boom. I have division. So I need to go ahead and tackle that. So I have 16 minus 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then that 14 comes down next. And I asked myself, do I have any other multiplication or division? Nope, so he's dead. So now I need to add or subtract from left to right. Again, get my mouse. Subtraction. 16 minus 2 happens first, so 16 minus 2 gives me 14. And then I have 14 plus 14, which is 28. Not too terrible. Go ahead and identify where you're going to start on this problem, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So where are we going to start first? You should have hopefully identified that we need to start with our exponent, as I meant to also copy that. And I didn't want to do that. And I want to go that and that. Oh, too far. Duplicate you again and pull you over and go bloop and go back and say bye-bye. Go hide again. I need to scooch a little bit. Sometimes I come up with this idea as I'm going, I'm like, ooh, that would be a neat idea. So I didn't think about it at first. So we're evaluating inside groupings done. We don't have any. We're doing our powers, so 8 squared. So 20 minus 7 plus 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64, minus 7 times 11. So my powers are all done. I got rid of those. What about my multiplying and dividing from left to right? So where's my cursor? There he is. Subtraction, addition, subtraction, multiplication, found it. So I have 20 minus 7 plus 64 minus, let's see, 11 times 7, 77. And I don't have any more multiplication or division, so I'm working on my addition or subtraction. Left to right, well, I have subtraction to start with, so let's go there next. 20 minus 7 is 13. So 13 plus 64 minus 77. And then I go back again. Oh, look, I have 13 plus 64, which gives me 77. And then I have 77 minus 77. Big old donut. 0. Hopefully those last two are a piece of cake. Dun, dun, dun. A little bit more intensive. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this a few times and throw it. All the pages, I need one more, it looks like. Ooh. All right, again, a little bit more intensive, but we can handle it. So now I have to say, do I have a grouping? And I do. So that's where I'm going to start, is I'm going to start inside here. 10 minus 6 is 4. So I have 4 divided by 2 plus 5 times 4. I do not have powers, but I have multiplication or division from left to right. So let's go and start. Ooh, division, got to go there. He started to the left. Doesn't matter. I don't care that I have multiplication later. Got to go with that division. 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 5 times 4. Now we can go make everyone be happy and do our multiplication. So 2 plus 20, which is simply 22. Okay, it really wasn't that hard. But still, what about that one? Ooh. And I apparently wanted to throw it off in left field. But you're like, but I have 2 sets of grouping. I have parentheses and brackets. Well, I have to go to the innermost piece. And the innermost piece, inner piece, would be this guy. So I have 6 bracket 32 minus parenthesis squared bracket 2 plus 3 gives me 5. And you're like, but I still have brackets and I still need to keep simplifying inside that. But inside that, I have subtraction and a power. So even though I haven't finished inside the brackets yet, I have to still follow my order of operations inside the brackets as well. You're like, what? Crazy. So now I have to attack the 5 squared. And we know 5 squared is simply 25. And I almost tried to see if I could write left-handed, but I didn't think that'd be a good idea to try that out on you guys. Now that I've taken that guy squared, I can drop the parentheses. There's no more need for them. 32 minus 25 is 7. So I have 6 times 7. And 6 times 7 is 40. Well, okay, it wasn't that. We got through it. Ooh, next one. I don't have grouping, but I technically kind of do. So this problem is cool and neato because it's like saying I have this guy all divided by this guy. So if I'd originally given you what I wrote in black, I would start on the leftmost side. Sorry, I'm back, my camera's backwards. I'd start on the leftmost side, which would be the same thing as starting on the top. So we're gonna actually start on the top, and I have that power, so I'm gonna start with that power. So 2 to the third is 8. So I have 8 minus 5 divided by 15 plus 9. And then I still have more guys up there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that together and say 8 minus 5, which is 3. And next I say, oh, hey, look, I've got a denominator that needs simplifying. So I have 3. Oh, 15 and 9 give me what, 24? Yeah. Ah, I didn't mean to change red. I didn't mean to change red. Back up. Oh, much better. Now my colors are easy to follow. And then I need to simplify if possible. Since they both can divide by 3, let's do it. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 24 divided by 3 is 8. So my answer is 1 over 8. All right, you now have a worksheet to work on. So let's get that done so that way we can move on because we like to keep working through math.